Sunset spills across golden sand. Laughter, a drone shot of paradise, palm trees, cocktails, and the glimmer of a couple walking hand in hand. She thought it was the trip of a lifetime. White sands, sunset dinners, and the man she loved. But somewhere between paradise and hell, she vanished. Screams echo beneath crashing surf, a muffled gasp, chains tighten. When Mia woke, the ocean was gone, and so was her freedom. Heartbeat sound, black screen. What started as a romantic getaway became a nightmare of lies, betrayal, and human trafficking. But what they didn't know was that she'd survive and come back for them. The plane touched down just as the sun melted into the horizon, painting the Bali sky in shades of blood orange and violet. Mia Carter pressed her forehead to the window, her breath fogging the glass. She turned to Daniel, who was grinning like a man who owned the world. "We made it," he said, brushing a stray curl from her face. Mia smiled, tired, happy, unsuspecting. 2 weeks of paradise. The kind of line that would replay in her nightmares for months to come. They stepped off the plane into warm, jasmine-scented air. The airport buzzed with music and chatter. Tourists snapping photos, locals waving taxi signs. Daniel's hand found hers as he guided her through the crowd, confident, protective, the way he always was. It was that confidence that had drawn her to him in the first place. Daniel Reeves, 32, tall, clean-cut, with the kind of easy charisma that made people lean in when he spoke. He owned a small chain of tech startups, traveled often, and lived like life owed him something. Mia, 27, quiet but curious, had fallen for him fast. Too fast, maybe. This trip was supposed to be their next chapter, an escape after a rough year. She'd lost her father to cancer 6 months earlier, and Daniel had been her anchor through the storm. "You need to live again," he'd told her. "Let's go somewhere no one knows us." It sounded romantic then. Now it sounded like a warning. The villa Daniel had rented was stunning. White stone walls, infinity pool overlooking the ocean, and floor-to-ceiling glass that caught every drop of sunlight. The locals greeted them with hibiscus garlands and cocktails. Mia filmed everything, their laughter, the waves, Daniel's teasing grin when she got sunburned. He'd always been good at moments, flowers for no reason, late-night drives, whispered promises of forever. She didn't notice the way he checked his phone more often, or how the driver who'd picked them up never once looked her in the eye. That night, under the slow churn of the ceiling fan, Daniel kissed her shoulder. "You're safe with me," he whispered. She believed him. 4 days later, Daniel suggested a beach party at a resort down the coast. Music pulsed through the humid air, torches flickering along the sand. Mia danced barefoot, her white dress glowing under the lights. Daniel handed her a drink. She hesitated. "It's strong," she said after the first sip. He laughed. "Loosen up, you're on vacation." Hours blurred into each other. She remembered the ocean, Daniel's arm around her waist, then the sudden weight in her eyelids. The world tilted. She blinked. He was saying something, his voice distant. Then blackness.
When she woke, her head was pounding. The air was stale, damp. The walls concrete, the floor dirt. She tried to sit up, but her wrists screamed with pain. A metal cuff clamped around her right arm, chained to a pipe bolted to the floor. "Daniel!" Her voice cracked. Silence. Her phone was gone, her clothes replaced with a torn t-shirt. Panic rose like bile. She shouted again, louder. Nothing. Then from somewhere beyond the door, a man's voice said something she didn't understand. Not English. The lock rattled. Mia's breath hitched as a woman entered, not much older than her, thin, hollow eyes. "Don't scream," the woman whispered. "They'll hurt you." "Where am I?" The woman shook her head. You were brought here, sold. Mia's pulse roared in her ears. No, Daniel would never. The woman's expression twisted. Pity, then resignation. He brought you. The truth came slowly, like poison working through her veins. Daniel was part of it. She pieced it together through fragments, overheard conversations, foreign words she began to understand. Daniel had debts, connections. He'd been bringing women here for months, promising them love and travel, selling them to the ring once they landed. The man she loved, the man who said she was safe, had traded her freedom for money. At first, she refused to believe it. Maybe he'd been forced. Maybe this was a mistake. But on the 5th night, she heard him, his voice, calm, cold. She's American, pretty. You'll get a good price. Her knees buckled. She pressed her palms over her mouth to keep from screaming. The sound of his footsteps faded, replaced by the low hum of a generator outside. In that moment, Mia died. The woman who trusted too easily, who believed in love. The one who replaced her was silent, calculating, waiting. Weeks passed. Days blurred into each other. The guards grew careless. She learned their schedule, the timing of the food. The moment one fell asleep, the second the other left to smoke outside. She met others, women from everywhere. Thailand, Ukraine, Nigeria. Each with a story that began with hope and ended in a room like hers. One night, a storm hit, thunder shaking the walls. Water poured through the cracks. As the guards scrambled, Mia slipped the rusted pin from her chain's base, twisting until her wrist bled. Click! The shackle came loose. Her heart slammed. Every sound felt too loud. She grabbed the nearest thing, a metal pipe, and crept toward the door. When the first guard returned, she swung. The sound was wet, final. She ran barefoot into the night, through mud, through rain, through jungle. Her breath came in ragged bursts. Behind her, shouts echoed, flashlights cut through the trees. Her mind screamed, "Keep going." Hours later, she stumbled onto a road, collapsing before the headlights of a passing truck. The driver braked hard, rushing out, shouting in shock. "Mister, help me, please!" He wrapped her in a jacket, lifted her into the cab, and drove. When she saw the sign, "Policey," she finally let herself cry.
The police raided the compound at dawn. They found 12 women alive. 5 weren't. Daniel was gone. Interpol issued a warrant, but he'd vanished into the world, like smoke from a dying fire. Mia gave her statement in a trembling voice, every word slicing her throat like glass. Her story made headlines. She became a symbol, a survivor. But behind the cameras, she was haunted, because Daniel was still out there, and she wasn't done. 6 months later, the ocean still haunted her dreams. Mia Carter sat by the window of a rehabilitation center in Houston, staring at the rain as it slid down the glass like slow tears. Her wrist bore faint scars, reminders of chains that once defined her. Reporters had stopped coming, the public's appetite for tragedy already fed. But Mia wasn't done. Every night, she scrolled through forums and trafficking survivor groups, learning the language of predators, routes, codes, recruitment tricks. She memorized names, patterns. The world called her lucky to be alive. Mia called it unfinished business. One evening, a manila envelope arrived, no return address. Inside, photos, grainy stills from a hotel in Croatia. One of the men who'd guarded her, laughing at a bar. And next to him, Daniel. The note read, "He's back in the game." Her pulse spiked. Her therapist's words, "Healing takes time," vanished beneath the sound of her own heartbeat. She opened her laptop, booked a one-way flight to Dubrovnik. This time, she wasn't going as prey. Europe was cold and quiet, the kind of cold that made your bones ache. Mia changed her name, Leah Cole.
dyed her hair darker, traded dresses for jeans and leather jackets. She worked at a bar near the port where traffickers often moved girls through fake modeling agencies. She listened more than she spoke, watched faces, noted who paid in cash. 2 months in, she spotted him. Daniel Reeves, alive, well-dressed, smiling like he hadn't left bodies behind. His arm around a young girl, maybe 19, American, naive. Mia's breath hitched, but she didn't move. She watched, memorized. Later that night, she followed him to a warehouse near the docks, a shipping company on paper, a trap in reality. The sign read, Helios Exports. Inside, she could hear laughter, men's voices, the scrape of metal crates. She snapped photos from behind a dumpster, fingers trembling. When she returned home, she uploaded everything to an encrypted drive. But this wasn't about police anymore. She'd gone to the authorities before. They'd said, "We'll need jurisdiction approval, Miss Carter. Be patient." Patience had gotten her chained. Now, she wanted something else. She found her ally in a woman named Alina, one of the Ukrainian girls rescued from the same compound. Alina, fierce and broken in equal measure, had contacts in the underworld. "She recruits through a fake talent agency," Alina told her, eyes burning. "I can get you in." Mia nodded. "Do it." A week later, Mia, under the name of Leah Cole, walked into the Helios agency, posing as a new recruit. The office smelled of expensive cologne and deceit. She wore a fitted black dress, heels, and a mask of nervous excitement. When Daniel stepped into the room, she almost forgot to breathe. He looked older, faint lines around his eyes, but the same confident smirk. Mia, he'd called her once, with love. Now, he extended his hand to Leah. "Welcome," he said. "You're exactly what we look for." Her fingers brushed his. Her pulse didn't betray her. Inside, she imagined pressing a knife into that same palm. Over the next few days, she played her part, smiling, listening, pretending to be another girl chasing dreams. She mapped the warehouse in her mind, exits, cameras, guard schedules. She learned where the victims were kept before shipment. Every night, she recorded everything, every name, every transaction. Then came her moment. Daniel invited her to a private audition. She followed him down the corridor, her steps steady. Inside the dimly lit room, he turned, eyes glinting. "You remind me of someone," he said softly. "Who?" He smiled. "Someone I once lost. Or sold." His expression froze. Recognition dawned like a blade between them. "Mia," he whispered. She pulled the gun from her purse. "You remember."
For a moment, neither spoke. The hum of the air conditioner was the only sound between them. Daniel laughed softly, shaking his head. "You've got guts, I'll give you that. But you don't know what you're in the middle of. These people will bury you." "I already died once," she said. He took a slow step forward. "You think killing me changes anything? You're not a hero, Mia. You're just another—" She fired. The bullet shattered the mirror behind him. Not a kill shot. Not yet. "Tell me where they are, the girls, now." Blood trickled from his arm as he grinned, still arrogant. "You wouldn't shoot me." Mia's jaw clenched. "I already did." She forced him toward the control room, the place where shipment logs were kept. Daniel's bravado faltered as she pressed the gun to his side. "Open it," she ordered. He typed, hands trembling. The screen filled with names, dates, destinations, proof of everything. Outside, alarms began to wail. Guards shouted. Alina had triggered the fire alarms, her signal that the other women were free. Mia hit send, uploading the files to multiple news agencies, NGOs, and Interpol. Daniel lunged for the gun. They struggled, furniture crashing, shouts blending with the alarm. She slammed him into the wall. breath ragged. "You ruined my life. You took everything." Daniel sneered, blood on his teeth, "And I'd do it again." Her next shot silenced him forever. Flames licked the walls as smoke filled the warehouse. Mia grabbed Alina's hand, pulling her toward the exit. Sirens blared in the distance, police finally responding to the tip. They burst into the night, coughing, clothes singed. The girls they'd freed, 10, maybe 12, stumbled behind them, clutching one another. Mia turned back once. The building that had stolen so many lives was collapsing in on itself, fire consuming every secret it had ever held. She whispered, "For all of us." Weeks later, Interpol confirmed the ring's destruction. Dozens arrested across Europe and Southeast Asia. Survivors reunited with families. But Mia didn't stay for the praise. She disappeared again, this time by choice. No cameras, no interviews, just quiet. Alina found her 1 year later in a small coastal town in Portugal. Mia was painting near the sea, wind in her hair, scars fading into suntan skin. "You finally free?" Alina asked. Mia smiled faintly, "As free as we can be." They stood there, two survivors, watching the horizon, the same horizon that once caged them, now stretched endlessly ahead. Months later, a package arrived at Interpol headquarters. Inside, a USB drive labeled simply, "For the ones still missing." It contained new names, new leads, the next network still operating in silence. Attached was a single note, "Mia Carter, still watching." Mia's story isn't just about betrayal, it's about rebirth. What began as a dream vacation ended in a nightmare of survival. But in the ashes, she found something stronger than fear, the will to fight back. Not every victim gets a second chance. She made hers count.